All right, I'm back for Dustius's ongoing coverage of the ESL Impact Dallas Finals, Season 5. I'm here with GooseBreeder about a day or two after their unfortunate elimination from the event. So to start, thanks so much for coming back around. I know you've still been here very eagerly watching the other teams, and I know you also played in the show match today. So to start, how did you enjoy the show match?
The show match was fun. It was there was like some big chickens at some point. We played basically Inferno with different iterations of the like CS 1.6, Source, Go. We started with CS2 maybe. I don't remember, but yeah, it was fun. I got to play against John, and I got to play on the big stage, which was fun for me because I've never played on a stage like that before. Even though it's like kind of a silly show match, it was still fun for me.
Well, you didn't just play against John EliGE, for those who aren't on a first name basis with John. You beat EliGE. Is that going to be something you're going to be putting over his head though for the rest of the week? Are you going to be constantly being like, well, I beat you?
I'll probably find fun timings to mess with him, and yeah, it was fun beating him. Obviously, I didn't really expect to. I know it was a silly game, but I still get to laugh about it at the end.
In a way, I feel like like you said, it's only your first time on a big stage like that at an IEM event, and you've been in the game for such a long time. Your career dating all the way back to the early days of obviously CLG Red, and even before then. Do you think it's like if you want to sort of take something away from this, do you think it's a good sign for the state of women's esports that now they are, ESL saying, oh, we can get Impact players on stage, and someone like you, who's sort of the face of the ESL Impact scene, can be on those big stages, and someone people like know and will cheer for?
I think it's like a nice opportunity. It's a show match, so it doesn't really like matter too much who they put on there, I guess, in my opinion. But I think it's like a nice way to show it, and it's not like a very competitive environment, obviously, so it doesn't like hold the same weight. But I think it's like fun, and for like your everyday viewer, I think it's good to just show like women existing in the space alongside mixed scenes and stuff like that. So I think it's always a positive thing, and I had fun playing alongside my team. They're pretty cool too, and I know some of them, so.
Yeah, and so taking a look back at your run here in Dallas, unfortunately it didn't go quite the way the team was expecting, obviously, with 2 losses to exit the event. I wanted to ask you about your loss against HSG, because for the beginning of the series, FlyQuest were in such a dominant position, and it slowly started to slip away. What do you think has gone wrong, especially now that you've had time to sort of sit down and talk and think about it?
Yeah, that game was very winnable for us. It obviously sucked, and people were disappointed, but ultimately I think we're a very good team where we try to stay together even in hard times. And we just all went through the event, talked about it, got anything off our chest, but ultimately it was a positive experience for us, regardless of the results. I think we really showed that we're a team to be feared, and honestly, winning like the game versus Big or the game versus HSG was like a difference of like 1%. Those games were so close, and they were definitely in our grasp to take. We let it slip, but we are pretty new with this new 5. I think we're doing exceptionally well in terms of like the amount, like the skill we have on this team. I think our floor is very high, so I think consistency is going to be a lot easier to achieve with this lineup. So I have no doubt that we're just going to keep building our floor and raising our ceiling, and I think that come next Impact, we're just going to keep pushing it. We're going to do everything we can to not only like make it out of groups, but we want to go as far as we can. We definitely think we have what it takes. So I know it's a bit of a broken record coming from me, but I do have a lot of faith in this team, and I think if you watch the games, if you look at the scores, but you actually watch the game, I think it shows we played a lot of rounds well, and they just, we made small mistakes that, we're going to clean up for the future. But yeah, it's just building our floor so that in the future, these mistakes are very rare if they ever happen at all. And just keep building our fundamentals. So I think we'll get a lot better very quickly with this lineup.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that this team hasn't been together too long, and even then, I actually did hear for the first time on HLTV confirmed that Kaoday has taken over as the IGL, taking the role over from you. Could you sort of explain what prompted this change, and how did you guys decide to make your recent French import the new sort of leader of the squad?
Yeah, I think I took over IGL at some point to what I thought was like a necessity. And I think that after our loss in Valencia, for me it was just very stressful. I kept pushing myself. We had to build from scratch. I had veterans who left the roster, had to build from scratch, rookies from NA. We got some international talent. It was a big project. I think for me it just was a lot on my shoulders, and I just felt I was very stressed out. And I think that ultimately at the time after the loss, we just, I think it just only so many times you can lose. And for me, I just wanted to relieve some stress, and I trusted Coline to take the role from me. So I talked to her after we lost, and I was like, what do you think? I was like, I think I can help with my leading experience and do a good job co-leading. And that's something I did for a long time prior to actually IGLing. I've always been a loud voice, a good co-leader. I've always assisted the IGL. That's something I was naturally good at. And I'm also a very consistent player. But when you're IGLing, it's really hard to be a consistent performer, because at the end of the day, you're always your main goal is the strategy and the team. And no matter what happens, you can try to do your best individually. But when push comes to shove, your main focus is going to be, okay, I need to make good calls. I need to set my team up. And you're just not going to perform consistently individually. And I think that I'm a very strong player, that I can make a big difference when I'm performing. So I think that it's kind of like a win-win, where I trust Coline as the IGL. I think she has what it takes. I think she can be a great leader, and she is showing that. This was her first LAN as IGL. I think she did a really good job, and I think she's improving quickly. And I think we have a really good relationship where, I was listening to some of the casting, and some people think, oh, it might be a hard thing for two IGLs to exist. And I don't think it has to be that way. I think we coexist very well. I think it's just about open communication and just understanding each other. And just finding balance for each other, because obviously I'm a big voice, but she's the IGL, so she takes precedent. So yeah, it's just I'm trying to give her enough space to get her feel, but chime in where I can, just try to be helpful. But yeah, I have a lot of faith in her. I think it's helpful for me because I've been playing for so long, and it got really stressful for me. Started getting gray hairs, and I was really questioning man, can I keep up this kind of stress? And it just didn't really feel like I was enjoying myself anymore. It felt like I was just constantly grinding with nothing to really hit dopamine for me. Nothing was rewarding me because we kept not having results over and over. So it was kind of hard mentally. But yeah, I really like this team. It really sparked a new life for me. And it kind of feels like I'm getting back into my groove as a player, where I can consistently be impactful, and I plan to continue to get better and be more impactful in future events. Yeah, so a long answer, but something like that.
Speaking about new faces on the team, we did recently see the announcement of Sheikh Zula joining FlyQuest RED as the assistant coach. Now, for those at home who sort of want to see how the sausage is made, I had a chance to talk to Sheikh Zula at DreamHack Atlanta, and at the time he said, oh, I'm probably leaning towards retirement. And so this was something that was quite surprising to me. How did he find his way onto this team?
Well, we were looking for assistant coach, and we have an application process and stuff, and we knew of him. Obviously, he's very well known in the NA region. He's always been known for being a good mind for the game. So we did a little bit of a trial run for him, and we just liked him instantly. We think he does a great job. He's a very good. He complements very well the team, and then he works with Monster. They do a good job together, and I think it helps round out the team well. I think together they do a good job keeping us accountable, staying on track of what we need to get better at, what's important for us to in going into games, hey, we really need to make sure we're doing these things if they catch us slipping in certain aspects of the game. But yeah, I think Sheikh's a very chill person. He's a funny guy, so I think that is a good atmosphere that he brings to the team. alongside. Just he has like a good mind for the game, so he can help out. And whatever Monster like also needs him to do, like they've been very good together. So.
Okay. Looking towards the next ESL Impact season, unfortunately, this season was South America's time to get sort of screwed over by the new rules, and now next season will be NA's turn to get screwed over by the new rules, with only one spot for a North American team to make it into the LAN. We had a chance to talk to Empathy from TSM Shimmer, and she believes that the team is closing in on FlyQuest RED and thinks it's going to be a very difficult fight for that final spot, or pardon me, a very close fight for that final spot between the two of you. How do you feel about your rivalry, TSM Shimmer? I know currently the team, for the most part, FlyQuest RED has been dominant, but what do you think about that rivalry, and do you think there's any threat to your spot for next season in the LAN?
I don't think so. Obviously, they're not a bad team by any means. I think we play each other so much that, they get familiar with how we play. But ultimately, I think we're always the better team at the end of the day. They can keep improving, but it's not like we're sitting on our butts, like we're going to keep improving, and we're improving at a pretty rapid pace. They're a competitor, right? They need to think that they can beat us, and they should. But we're just going to keep getting better. I think we close it out every time we play them. So I don't feel that they're going to take our throne from us. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to get better. We're going to secure that slot, and that's always our mindset. So we're just going to keep in our lane, keep doing us. But they should feel like they can beat us. I think that's a good thing. It sucks that we only have one slot. I would like to see more tournaments. Maybe other events can. Like Thunderpick actually just held an event to qualify for the main qualifier, I believe, and we actually played in that, and we played Shimmer, we played a few other teams. I would really love to see more of that for NA. Just more NA tournaments in general would be very nice, and I think the region is trying, so I really like to see that. I would love to see more events in a perfect world, maybe some LANs, because it's really going to be hard to get LAN experience. Thankfully, we have Fragate Alpheas, and that's kind of our goal, is to get to them, but I would like to see more LANs for sure.
Yeah, and I think everyone from the Impact scene and everyone from semi-pro to professional is always saying more LANs in NA, more LANs in NA, more LANs in NA, and I think that'd be a great place to see you fight Shimmer. And the scabbard has been thrown down, but we'll have to wait until next season to see what really happens between this new developing rivalry between TSM and FlyQuest. So thank you so much for your time, GooseBreeder, and we will let you get back to enjoying the grand finals here. Thank you.